In the 70s, something happened. The Nehruvian dream is over. 70s was an extremely difficult, fraught kind of moment, and the cinema changes. You have the emergence of the angry young man figure, Amitabh Bachchan. Interestingly, in Diwar, you actually have the use of the Khan Chacha figure. Amitabh Bachchan, is his friend and guide is Muslim Chacha, which is drawing upon the stereotype, the good image of the Muslim that was very, very central to Bombay cinema for a long time. In Coolie, 1983, another Manmohan Desai film, Amitabh Bachchan plays a Muslim. And you have again the deployment of the 786, the billah, the same number, which is his identity. He uses the same. But the 70s is also the moment of what we call the Indian New Wave. The Indian New Wave, which was an art movement moving away from the song and dance routines to a large extent, and which looked at all those questions that were repressed questions in our history. And one of the repressed questions, of course, is the communal question. So it looked at poverty, it looked at land, at the exploitation of labor, farm labor, etc., etc. But a number of films, let me draw your attention to Garam Hawa. Garam Hawa, that was made in 1973, and this is the ending of Garam Hawa. And what has happened is that Garam Hawa is a film about a Muslim family, and just set immediately in January 1948, just after Gandhi has been shot dead, and members of this family are all going to Pakistan. So there's the train to Pakistan and they're all leaving, and Salim Mirza, that's Balraj Sahni, refuses to go. This is his daughter, Amina, who has two engagements that don't work out, and so finally her second fiancé has gone away to Pakistan. She's just learned that he's got married to someone else there. And this is, of course, the suicide of Amina. Very, very moving moment in the film. And so you have Ms. Balraj Sahni asking, has Amina eaten? Shocked, of course. That and finally, it is the death of Amina, and he has been accused of being a spy for Pakistan, and that does it, and he finally decides to leave. And I want to, that's Farooq Sheikh, his son, who says, please don't go, let's not go. Look at the way in which, again, architecture is being used to signify our history, a shared history, a shared culture. And the loss, Salim, if he goes away to Pakistan, he loses the Taj. And of course, what is meant by him losing the Taj is not the Taj Mahal, but everything that history sort of represented. They're now leaving, and everybody is shocked because he was the one person who didn't want to go. So as they go, it was possible still in the 70s to actually see the Muslim as part of a larger national struggle. And the New Wave was attempting to do that. It addressed very difficult questions, it addressed the communal question, and it actually provided a vision of and a secular ideal for the nation. Right through the 70s, you have films like Anities, you have films like Tamas, for instance, from the New Wave. You have Saeed Mirza's work, Salim Langre Pe Matro, and Naseem. And these films continue to get made by New Wave filmmakers. In the mainstream, of course, there is a crisis because the communal question is not only not being addressed, it is also the image of the Muslim is getting increasingly communal and stereotyped as now as the criminal. So that in films like Gardish, there are several films in the 80s, Tezab, Lotia Pathan, you know, the head of the criminal gang is a Muslim. So you have the figure of the Muslim as criminal through the 80s, and by the time we come to the 90s, you have the figure of the Muslim as the rioter and the terrorist. Now, of course, that is the question. You have the figure of the Muslim as a person who is participating in the riots, who is, you know, and who is a terrorist. And I believe that something changed very drastically in the 90s. Khalid Muhammad's Fiza. Yes, pay attention to the sound, the music, the image. Khalid Muhammad holds the image, the traumatic moment for this family, holds it with their sobbing, the sound of their sobbing on the soundtrack, and then intercuts with photographs of the Bombay riots, right? Clearly locating the film in 1992-93. Not only is the Babri Masjid demolished on 6th December 1992, the riots that followed, in which of course both Hindus and Muslims died, but the Muslim youth were shot by the police and they were rounded up and shot. And you must have also noticed that the quality of this violence, the way in which the film, the cinema is no longer squeamish about addressing the communal question and the question of communal conflict straight on, head on. It's addressing it. It's no longer a kind of metaphorical Padosi kind of syndrome. It's no longer even Dharamputra, where violence is not directly, you know, ye kiska lahu hai kaun mara, raising a moral question. But the violence is more or less sort of aesthetically done. It's not. But here the violence is absolutely palpable. And whether it's this film or Hey Ram or Bombay or several other films, the communal questions are actually being addressed, and the questions of the stereotype, the way in which the Muslims have been stereotyped is addressed squarely, and the burden of the film is to actually demonstrate how they are victims. They are actually victims of the violence. They're not necessarily the perpetrators.